Hello, hello. This is so exciting. I'm so pumped that you're here. This is going to be game changing. I promise you that. Just feel it. I can just feel it. All right, let me get set up here. Okie dokie. So I'm going to share my presentation. Thanks so much for coming. All right. Thanks for coming. Today we're talking about how to achieve any goal. It's going to be so good. Do you have a goal? Raise your hand if you have a goal that you want to accomplish. I know I do. All right, so just in case you can't see me, which I know you can, this is a picture of me. My name is Amber Dibert. I am a performance mindset coach. So I'm certified through the Life Coach School. I am a certified coach, and I am obsessed with productivity. I am super obsessed with productivity. Let's see. I think of myself as like the human guinea pig for all the productivity stuff. I love testing out every productivity thing that there is, and I love trying them out for myself. I am obsessed with efficiency and productivity. I was like, how can I make this my job? And I kind of am. So that's who I am. I've helped my clients with anything from waking up early to starting a business, to growing a business, to navigating company politics, to navigating family politics, to becoming happier, to becoming confident in their ability as a manager. I've also helped people find more love for themselves. I've also helped people gain control over their phone use. I love what I do. It's all related to your brain. Okay, so here's our agenda today. We're going to talk about three things. I go much deeper with my clients, but I want to give you three things that you can take away and use today. So get ready. And at the end, I'm going to tell you how to get some free help for your specific situation. So stay tuned. So today we're going to talk about what is holding you back. We're going to give you a step-by-step process. So get out your notebook because this is going to be good. And then thirdly, we're going to teach you how to free up more time so that you can have more time for your goals. Okay, what is holding you back? Any ideas? Maybe you're doing this to start more money. Maybe you want to take control of your life rather than letting it pass you by. What is it that is holding you back from achieving your goal? So typically what I find for myself and for my clients is it's one of three things. It's either distraction, accountability, or emotions. So talking about distractions, how many of you are like me and you're like, oh, actually, I'd just rather binge watch Netflix. Okay, I have this show right now that I cannot stop watching that I need to stop watching. They're flipping houses in Palm Springs, and I am obsessed with it. It's so good. And I love the characters on it. I mean, not the characters, they're people, but I love them. And I can't stop watching it. I'm like, I've got to stop watching this. Also, distractions on your phone, right? It's so much easier to just like spend time on your phone. How many of you are like me? You open your phone to Google something really quickly, and 2 hours later, you're like, what am I doing? What did I even open my phone with to begin with? And you got distracted, like making sure you had 0 badges on anything. I'm totally that way. So number 2 is accountability. If you're like me, then if you're only letting yourself down, you're kind of okay with it. If you're not letting anybody else down, like if nobody knows that you're trying to accomplish this thing, then you don't feel that bad, right? Having somebody holding you accountable is so helpful for me. So I had physical exercise goal that I just was not meeting. And I knew that I needed somebody holding me accountable. So I hired a coach, a physical trainer, and I told her, I just need you to be disappointed in me if I don't do my workouts. Sure enough, she is building programs for me, which is super helpful, obviously, and it's very valuable. But she's building programs for me that are the same programs I was doing anyway. Like, it's almost the same. And it's not that I couldn't Google it. It's not that I can't figure out how to do it on my own. Like, everything is Googleable. But the fact that she is disappointed in me when I don't do my workouts, which she does a very good job. She's a very kind person, and she's great at being disappointed, means that I am working out more than I ever have in my entire life, and I'm in better shape than I've ever been in my whole entire life, which is really exciting. Okay, number 3, emotions. So raise your hand if you are waiting to feel motivated to accomplish your goal. Maybe you're like, oh, I just don't feel like it today. Maybe tomorrow I'll feel like it, but today I just don't feel like it. Isn't that funny? I'm always like, oh, I'm not going to get started today because I just don't feel like it. Turns out I basically never feel like it. Or what will happen is I'll get really pumped about something. I'll get so excited. And then I start it out. I buy a bunch of stuff and get it all figured out. And then it fizzles off and I don't do anything. So we're always waiting for our emotions to be motivated, excited, pumped about doing this. And what typically happens is the motivation never comes, right? How's it working for you? Probably not, because you're here. Let's be honest. Okay, so here's a step-by-step process. It's helpful to get out a pen and paper if you want to write this all down. Okay. Number 1, start with the end. So I want you to start with what you want to have happen at the end. So I plan out my years, basically, and I do it usually at the beginning of the year. So I think, okay, this time next year, in December 2019, what will I hold in my hand? It's really important as you are doing this planning to plan out your objectives. So sorry, not your objectives, but plan out what you're going to hold in your hand. What are the deliverables? What are the outcomes that you will have? That's the word I was trying to think of. So instead of saying this time next year, I'll have worked on my business. That's not really tangible, and you can't really measure that. So think this time next year, I will have, for me, I always decide I'm going to have X number in revenue. I'm going to have X number of clients. I'm going to have done X number of webinars or whatever it is. So I plan out exactly what are the things that I will be able to hold in my hand and how will I measure that. It's so important to have specific outcomes, because otherwise we're just working, but we don't know where we're going. The way I like to think about it is it's kind of like you get in a car and you're driving, but you don't really have a destination. Well, I'm making progress, I'm going somewhere, but where are you going? You don't know where you're going. So it's really important to define, where are you going? Where are you trying to get? So I do that a year in advance. After I plan out my year, I break it into 90-day segments. So basically quarters. I say, okay, in this 90-day, okay, I know that by the end of the year I'm going to be here. So in this 90-day segment, what do I need to do? In this 90-day segment, what do I need to do? And I break it out into 90 days. It's a lot easier for your brain to focus on 90 days and have 90-day goals than to have year-long goals, because it's so big. You don't really know what needs to happen. So breaking it into 90 days is really helpful. And then I'll even sometimes break it into 30 days. Okay, so I know that over the next 3 months, I want to have accomplished this. What do I need to do every single month in order to get there? So again, it's so important to have focused on exactly what you will deliver. So your 90-day goal might be, in 90 days, I will have a website. You will know if you have a website or not, right? Maybe you say, my website will be live so that it's out in the world. Or 90 days from now, I will have 3 chapters of my book written. Or 90 days from now, I will have a prototype of my product. Whatever that 90-day goal is, make sure that it's a deliverable. You will be able to hold it in your hands, theoretically, and show what you have created. You want to make sure that you know when you've accomplished it. Okay, so now that you've got your 90-day segments, and maybe even your 30-day segments, I want you to break out all the tasks. In order to accomplish a goal like writing 3 chapters of a book or creating a website, what are the things you need to do in order to accomplish that? So I want you to write out all the tasks that it takes to get there. The really interesting thing for me, at least as I've been following this process for my business, is that I always know what needs to happen. Like, it's not a mystery. It's not like I'm not accomplishing my goals because I don't know how to accomplish my goals. Like, I basically always know what needs to happen. And sometimes there are times when I don't know what needs to happen. Like, I want to create a website and I know that I need to host it, or maybe I didn't even know that I need to host it, but then I find out that I need somebody to host it. And so instead of just being like, well, I'm stuck, I've got this task, but I don't know how to do it. Write your task out to say, learn how to host a website. So one of your tasks is a note for you to learn how to do it. And that's perfectly okay. So by the end of this exercise, you will have all the tasks that you need to do in order to accomplish your goal. So exciting. I love this part. This is like the part that I love the most. Okay, so next, you're going to put all your tasks on a calendar. I don't care what calendar you use. If you want, use a paper calendar. If you want, use a digital calendar. I tend to write everything out by hand in my notebook, and then I transfer it to my Google Calendar. And the only reason I do that is because I know that I'm looking at my Google Calendar every single day. So whatever you know that you're going to look at every day, put your tasks in there. So you now have a list of all of your tasks, and you're going to schedule time for them. The really important part here, and this literally has changed my productivity. You guys, I'm telling you, I love productivity. Ever since I probably was a kid, I don't know. I just have always been looking for ways to optimize, to be more efficient, whatever. I love productivity. And this alone has like maybe tripled the amount of work that I get done. I quit my job in February, and I felt like I was a pretty good employee. I don't know. I got a lot done. Sometimes I'd mess around, but like I was pretty efficient with my time, like always trying to get more done. And I now work less than half the time that I would work then. And I get probably triple the amount of work done. In the last 8 months, I've accomplished so much more than I had in like probably the last 3 years. So here's the trick. Constraint is your friend. All right, I think about when I was in college, there were times when, like I remember one semester I only had 11 credits, which like 12 is full time. So 11 is still quite a few, but like I only had 11 credits. I didn't have that much. I had a lot of free time. And you would think, oh, you've got all this free time, so you would get a lot more done, right? No, the opposite happened. I felt like, oh, I've got all the time in the world, and I literally would get nothing done. Like my productivity was not great. And then I think about a semester when I had 19 credits, which by the way, I would never recommend to anybody. It was kind of awful. When I had 19 credits and I also had a part-time job, I got way more done than I did when I had 11 credits. And the reason was constraint. So I only had a limited window to get done everything that I needed to get done. I had much less time. And because of that, I got more done. Isn't that crazy? Maybe you've seen this for yourself as well. When you have all the time in the world to do something, you just like don't do it because you can do it anytime. But when you only have a small window, suddenly you're able to get a lot more done. So the key with scheduling these tasks on your calendar is to schedule time on your calendar and decide in advance how long you're going to spend on it. So don't let yourself don't say like, oh, I'm going to research this and I'm just going to do it until it's done. Decide in advance. I only have 30 minutes to do this, or I only have 1 hour to do this. And at the end of that hour, I have to be done with this task. So think about how much time you're going to give yourself and be reasonable about it. Like if you're not like at this point, I know how long it's going to take me to do things, especially the things that I do over and over again. But if you're new to this, you could give yourself like, it might take me a half an hour or 45 minutes. So I'm going to give myself an hour just to be sure. The other thing is if you have like kids or you know that you're going to be distracted or you know that you're going to be interrupted, like it would be great. Like I think I could finish this in 45 minutes, but people are probably going to come up to me. Just allow for that in your scheduling. So just know like I'm going to get distracted. So something that might take me an hour is probably going to take 3 hours. So schedule that in your calendar. And by the end of the 3 hours, you need to have it done. So if you take nothing else, please take this. When you are planning out your tasks, decide in advance how much time you will give yourself. Don't give yourself forever. Don't just say like, oh, I'm going to do this thing until it's done. Decide in advance. I'm only giving myself 30 minutes to do this. And at the end of the 30 minutes, it has to be done. It's going to help you with your perfectionism. And it's going to help you accomplish so much more. So then I will like set a timer on my watch, or like set up my phone and have like the countdown going. And I'll like be working on the task, and I'll see that and know like, oh, I've only got 10 minutes left. So I can know that I need to like pick up the pace or whatever. Okay. So once you have scheduled out your year in advance, you know where you want to be a year from today. And then you've broken it out into 90-day segments. So you like have broken it down smaller of where do I want to be 90 days from now in order to get to my year goal. And then you've written out all your tasks for accomplishing that 90-day goal. And you've now put every single task on the calendar. The next step is to do it no matter what. Okay, what I love about this process is it's so simple. There's nothing in here that's like mind-blowing or like really complicated. It's very, very simple, but it's not necessarily easy. And this is the part that's not easy. I love the part where I'm planning it all out and I'm like thinking in advance how amazing it's going to feel when all of these things are done. And as soon as that reminder shows up on my calendar, it pops up and it's like, oh, it's time to do the task that you said you were going to do. Literally 99% of the time, I want to do anything else. I'm like, oh, actually, this is the perfect time to deep clean my baseboards. I'd really like to clean up my desk drawers. I've been wanting to do that for a while. I literally want to do anything else. So I always think about, I had a CEO, he was an Ironman athlete. He had done the world championships at Kona 14 times, which meant he'd done other Ironmans, even more than that. Anyway, and I, at the time, was doing some small triathlons, like very small, not anything like that at all. And I remember talking with him about it, and he told me, he said, I know that the first 20 minutes of the run is just going to be awful. I just know. Every time I start the run, it's going to be terrible for the first 20 minutes, and I'm not going to want to do it, and it's going to feel like really awful, whatever. And he just knew that the first 20 minutes was going to suck. And he did it anyway. He's like, I know that after 20 minutes, I'm going to get in my groove. I'm going to start to feel endorphins and it's going to be fine. I just have to make it through that first 20 minutes. I think about this all the time. Every single time one of those tasks comes up on my list, I don't want to do it. And I'm like, oh, why did I just say that I was going to do this? I want to do anything else. Can I just like scroll Instagram for a while? Can I just like go clean out my closet? It's like when you have the final paper due, it's the best time to clean out your closet, right? So knowing in advance that this task is going to come up on your list and you're not going to want to do it is really helpful. It means that motivation is garbage, right? You never feel like it, or maybe sometimes you feel like it a little bit, but most of the time you never feel like doing it, and that's okay. That doesn't mean you're unmotivated. That doesn't mean that you're lazy. That doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. That just means that your brain is operating the way it's supposed to. So there's two major parts of your brain. There's the prefrontal cortex, which is the part that is doing all this planning. And it's like, oh my gosh, wouldn't it be amazing if we did this? And wouldn't it be so great if we do this? And it's thinking about the future and it's planning. And then there's the lizard part of your brain. It's kind of like the center of your brain. And this part of your brain is focused on what's called the motivational triad. This part is focused on seeking pleasure, aka Instagram, reducing effort, aka Instagram, and avoiding pain, also Instagram for me. So it wants to seek pleasure, it wants to reduce effort, and it wants to avoid pain. And so as soon as that task pops up, your lizard part of your brain is like, don't do it. This seems like the worst idea. And you just have to remember that your brain is motivated to try to do nothing. Because think about caveman times. If you didn't spend a lot of effort or a lot of energy, then you would live longer. And if you tried to avoid pain, then you'd live longer. And if you seek pleasure, like you find some berries, then you would live longer, right? So it's just trying to help you live longer. It's doing its job. But this isn't going to help you accomplish your goals. So just know, you're not going to want to do it. And instead, you're going to do it no matter what. Okay. So last thing that I want to teach you is how to free up more time. You know what you want to do. You know why you want to do it. You know the things that are getting in your way. And here is how to free up more time. So my number one thing that is always getting in the way is my phone. I have started just putting my phone, and it's not right now, I keep staring at it. I have started putting my phone in my desk drawer and closing my drawer so that it's not in my face, because otherwise I'm like thinking about it all the time. So eliminating distractions. The first thing that is super helpful for me is deciding in advance when I will use my phone. So I decided I have 3 windows per day when I can use my phone. I have a window in the morning when I first wake up, and I can use it for an hour. I don't usually use it for an entire hour, but I can like check it, check my emails, whatever, for an hour. And then I have a window at lunch where I can check it for 30 minutes just to check in, see what's going on. And then I have a window after my son goes to sleep at night where I can like binge Instagram as much as I want, go through all my emails, whatever it is that I want to do. So I have decided in advance that those are my 3 windows where I can look at my phone. The same thing works for email. If you're somebody who's like constantly in your email and it's distracting you all the time, it's so important to turn off notifications. As soon as you get that notification, your brain goes out of whatever it is that you were focused on. So turn off all your notifications. And then in those times when it's outside of my windows, I just turn my phone on do not disturb. And I know like, this is not the time to check my phone. This is time to focus. And I'm going to check my phone during one of those windows. Does it mean that I don't want to check my phone? Absolutely not. I always do. But I just tell myself, this is not the time. It's going to feel so good when you cross that thing off your list. And that is what I'm going for. I also use what's called the Pomodoro technique. So if I'm having a hard time getting into something that I want to be working on, I use this Pomodoro technique. What this means is you focus for 20 minutes, or you can decide whatever length of time you want, 20 minutes of focus time and then a 5-minute break. So if I'm having a hard time getting into a project, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do a few Pomodoros. Or maybe I just even say 1 Pomodoro. I'm just going to spend 20 minutes, that's it. And then I get a 5-minute break. And so I will set a timer on my phone, on my watch, and I give myself 20 minutes of focused time. I'm not going to check my email. I'm not going to check any notifications. I'm not going to get distracted. I'm just going to focus on this project. And then I get a 5-minute break. And sure enough, what usually happens is I start getting into it, and then the momentum starts to build, and I get the whole thing done. Okay. So next I want to talk with you about getting free individualized help. So this is incredible. I want to help you with your specific situation. I want to help you accomplish your specific goal, and I'm going to do it for free. But you don't have to take my word for it that it's amazing. Here are some of the testimonials I've received from my clients. So this is Spencer. Spencer said, "This was my first experience working with a coach. Working with Amber for the last 6 weeks has led to some of the biggest realizations about myself and enabled me to identify opportunities to improve. In 6 weeks, I feel like I've made more progress in accomplishing my goals than the last 2 years combined," which is such a high compliment to me. Spencer is such a motivated, determined, like always improving himself kind of person. So I was so thrilled that I had helped him so much. This is Rebecca. She said, "After 5 sessions with Amber, I was able to accomplish more than I had in 1 year on my own. Amber is more than just a motivator. She gives you models and techniques to work through in tough situations and come to a resolution. I helped Becky figure out her career path and figure out what was going to help her be most fulfilled." And then this is Dave. I helped Dave start up his company and grow his company. He said, "She's got enough positive energy for the both of us, which keeps me pumped to reach my goals. She's got a huge library of tools and tips to keep me focused. Best of all, I can feel that she's honestly invested in me achieving. If you're looking for help taking your game to the next level, you've got a great solution in Amber. I highly recommend her." Thank you, Dave. So I wanted to do the whole reading rainbow. You don't have to take my word for it. Okay, let me give you the details. I offer free sessions to help you with your particular problem. These are 30-minute sessions. You can book them at this website here, amberdybert.com/free session. And I'm going to give you 1 free tool to help you with your specific problem that you have today. I have a few slots open each week, so you've got to make sure you book it quickly because they book out fast. And you might be thinking, this sounds scary. If I book this, then I have to admit that I have a problem. Or you might be thinking, she's going to judge me. Like I should be able to figure this out on my own. Or you might be thinking, I don't have the time. Or you might be thinking, but I just don't feel like it. I just don't feel motivated. We've already learned that motivation is garbage, so don't wait for that. So I promise, if you're worried that this is going to be just a huge sales pitch, I'm not the kind of person who is going to try to convince you to buy something that you don't want to buy. If you are not interested in going further with this coaching and purchasing a coaching package, then don't worry. That's fine. It's the end of the road, no problem. I'm not out to try to convince anybody, but I do want you to take advantage of this free help. Just this one free coaching session makes a huge difference. It just might change everything for you. Here's what you're missing out on if you don't sign up. So I know that you're scared. Many people are. It's totally normal. At this point, your brain is freaking out. It's like, no, we want to avoid pain, reduce effort, and seek pleasure, which this doesn't feel like any one of those. I promise that this is a very loving and compassionate space, and just this one mini session is going to make a huge shift for you. So I want to encourage you to take advantage of it. I've been exactly where you are. I've been stuck feeling like I know where I want to go, and I know the steps to take there. Like, I know it's not hard. You can Google anything, right? Like, I can figure out what to do, but I'm just not doing it. I've been there, and I know how frustrating that feels. And now I'm on the other side of it. And it's so exciting. Guys, think about crossing things off your list all the time. It's basically the best thing ever. So that's my pitch for you. I would love if you would sign up for a free session. I would love to help you. I'm all in the business of helping people. It's so exciting to see the improvements that they've made. I think I mentioned earlier, I've helped my clients wake up earlier. I've helped my clients start businesses. I've helped my clients build better relationships. I've helped my clients become more confident managers, and it's so rewarding. All right, that's all I've got. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. I'm going to stop sharing here. And if not, thanks so much for coming. It's been a real treat. I can't wait to hear how you use all of this. I'll stick around for questions, and if not, thanks so much for coming.